engineering required to build not only the launch complex, but the ability to assemble it and move it is an engineering challenge, maybe even tougher than the engineering of the actual rocket itself.
To house the largest rocket on Earth, the vehicle assembly building had to be one of the largest buildings ever built. And NASA had to build it under constant pressure from the White House.
On November the 16th, 1963, Air Force One touched down at the Cape Skid Strip, bringing President Kennedy on his third visit to America's spaceport.
But just 1 week after Kennedy's visit, NASA and the nation lost its inspiring leader.
A dark page in the annals of America has been written to the crack of an assassin's bullet.
The Kennedy Space Center became the Kennedy Space Center on November 29th of 1963. That's 1 week exactly after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. President Johnson issued an order saying that this is what we're going to call our launch complex now.
The president's death only intensified the pressure to fulfill his dream.
It was John Kennedy who issued the challenge to put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. And that was the goal of this young president who'd just been assassinated. And the nation is in shock.
While the nation mourned, NASA could not afford to break stride. Inside the VAB, engineers had to create the ultimate working garage.
You need cranes that can lift tens of millions of pounds very carefully, very slowly through this gigantic space and turn them vertically to be stacked as a rocket.
It's a big building that has scaffolding at every point so that people can mate the various stages of the various rockets together.
As with any garage, you have everything that you need to work on the stages and assemble them, but it takes equipment like no other in the world.
They built 5 overhead cranes and mountains of scaffolding, and there was zero room for error.
It's these 325-ton cranes, and they can move a 10 million pound rocket. The crane can lift it 1/64 of an inch at a time. It's such precise movement. It takes months to get it all choreographed inside here.
The inside of the building was so vast, it would have its own weather system. Rain clouds could actually form below the ceiling. To keep the garage dry, they had to add 10,000 tons of air conditioning equipment. And before they began assembling the rocket, they had to figure out how they were going to move it. The answer? Build it on a mobile launch pad. The plan was to build a steel platform half the size of a football field with a hole in the center for exhaust. The 40-story tower would include a crane on top and 9 service arms called umbilicals. The umbilicals were designed to swing away from the rocket at launch.
These things have a surface area the size of a baseball infield.
You're looking at the mobile launch platform, and it's sitting on hard stands inside of the VAB. The rocket is actually attached to this platform, and it also has the launch tower right next to it. It's everything that this rocket needs around it, all inside of a building.
But the mobile launch pad would not move itself. For that, they had to create an entirely new vehicle.
They looked at barges, trains, wheeled vehicles, and they came up with a vehicle like this: tread belts, shoes, tank-like, ship-like. This allowed us to carry the most amount of weight at the proper speed.
They called it the crawler. It's one of the largest land machines ever built. For John Giles, it's his office.
We will roll over to the vehicle assembly building, we'll roll underneath the mobile launcher, and we'll position ourselves right there, and we'll wait for them to tell us when we can lift it up.
Now, getting the fully loaded crawler out of the building was another giant-sized problem. They had to build the largest doors on planet Earth. At 456 feet tall, these motorized rising doors would take 45 minutes to open.
The crawler comes right in through the doors over there and comes underneath and then picks up the mobile launch platform.
Then once we're allowed to lift up, we roll outside the VAB, and we'll take off to the pad there.
The crawler got its name for a good reason.
Because it crawls. We don't do anything fast.
And that slow but mighty machine had a dangerous road ahead.
This is Florida. It's swampland. You know, if you were to take 22 million pounds and start going, you'd sink everywhere you went.